So, good morning. Today is Monday, April the 13th. And so today is your daily attendance. Okay, so the links are already up. SU daily attendance. Make sure you like, screenshot, and then upload. I think our attendance has been working really well. There's a couple of you who have not had any attendance, so make sure that you make sure that that's up. And I think that those people might have dropped or something. So I think overall everybody's been doing great for daily attendance, and I think that it's a great way to sort of interact, and I think it's going really, really well. So remember that we will be taking attendance 3 days out of the week, and so we will do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On my end, there's specific attendance that needs to be done, but I'll take care of it. So we're good for that, okay? I basically give you all day to get it up, but I do want you to do the daily attendance. That's for daily attendance. Some of you have, very few of you, but have uploaded any attendance or any video. That's not the deal, okay? So that's really funny. Several things. This message is going to be for English 145 and English 133. So both of my Englishes, we'll discuss it in a minute. But first, I hope that you all had your great Easter, with the people that you live. That's basically where, what we're at right now. So I hope that you enjoyed that, in your self-isolation and your quarantine. It's called something else, and I never remember. I remember when I'm off the video, but don't remember. And so it's been very interesting, right? That we sort of can't go out. I mean, we can go out, so thank God, right? But we can't really go celebrate. So I have a very extensive family. I have, we're 8 siblings, or we were 8 siblings. I lost a brother this past year. That was very, it was horrendous, and it's been very hard to get through. But so we're currently 7 siblings, and most of us are married and have children. So, and we have a group chat. So that was really neat to see their pictures and their pictures of their families. So that was really neat. I don't know how you all shared it. Maybe you can share on your SU comment, for on your YouTube comment on how it is that you shared your Easter, with the people that you weren't physically in. So that, I'm a gourmet cook, so I did this like pork, and I haven't done pork in a long time because I usually don't eat meat, red meat, although pork is white meat, but I usually don't eat meat. I usually just eat fish, and I was a vegetarian for about 5 years straight. I've been getting into meat a little bit more. I don't know that I like it, it's hard to digest for me, and then I'm not exercising because of my my injuries. So, but anyway, so I did this pork tenderloin that was stuffed in spinach and cheese. It was a sauteed spinach with garlic and cheese, and then I did a marinade and a sauce of it was a white wine mustard, honey, balsamic vinegar sauce. It was to die for. It was really, really good. I did it in some wild rice. The wild rice I use boxed, and I usually use chicken broth for it when I do it. So that was really delicious. I put a little bit of Brussels sprouts in it, and so that was the bed of the pork tenderloin. I cut it up. It was beautiful. It was beautifully stuffed. I mean, my daughter's kind of hard on me, which is good, right? And so she said it is exquisite. So it's been very interesting because she always says that her brother and her stepdad had always mentioned that, that no matter what I make, even if it tastes bad, they always say it's delicious, and she doesn't. So it was very interesting. So we had a really nice holiday and a really nice Easter. And so I hope you all had a very blessed Easter. I had one of my students that say, "Miss, let's pray for the world," right? And so absolutely. So I did a lot of fasting, a lot of praying. I didn't pray as much as I should have, but nonetheless. So I hope you had an excellent, healthy Easter. And it's all about, sort of maintaining our health and making sure that we're very healthy, which leads me to a big shout out to Andrea. She's one of our students, and I just want to thank her tremendously. I've been telling you all that I had a really bad injury while I was doing some sit-ups. I think I tore something. So I swear, I kid you not, I was black and blue for the bruising. I couldn't get up the night before, like a whole day. I couldn't get up from bed. It was horrendous. It was excruciating pain. And also it felt like I had just like had a baby. It was crazy. I couldn't move. I haven't been able to sort of like, bend down or squat whenever I'm taking pots out or whatever. So it's been very excruciating. So she, and I hope you don't mind, Andrea, but this is really, really important for all of you, all for MAs. She really reached out and she said, "Hey, Ms., I hope I'm not imposing, but I'm into holistic medicine," which is very interesting because for those of you who've had me before, you all know that I'm sort of like I'm very spiritual and I'm very gifted, and I have very esoteric gifts. Which means a lot, but I'm not going to get into it. So I have a lot. I can see a lot of things. I have esoteric gifts. So one of them is I can interpret dreams. So a lot of my students come to me in dreams interpretations. But anyway, so I'm very much into holistic medicine. I just want to. So she gave me a tea on inflammation, and I kid you not, I was like the inflammation of my belly and all that was horrendous, and so I've been trying to really control that. And there's really not much we can do. I spoke to my doctor, and so he sort of told me I don't want to go. Remember, I don't want to go to the doctor because I'm asthmatic, and so whatever, this and that. I had seen him for business at other times, and so he just sort of told me what to do. So I've been doing it, and so she gave me this incredible tea recipe with ginger, and she explained it tremendously. So I thank you very much. She said ginger was a natural antibiotic, which it is. I didn't know. So remember that I'm general ed. I am not medicine, and I don't do medical. So you all know more in terms of medicine and medical than I do. Okay. So I'm very grateful for the lesson, and I'm very grateful for the knowledge, because when you guys speak, right, when you guys like say that you're going to draw blood or do your vitals, or like, I have no idea what that means, and we'll talk about that in our lectures about vocabulary and writing and all that, and I guess I'll do that here in this video. So this is going to be a long video. Get ready, sit down. So in addition to that, she told me do the ginger. So it's a ginger, garlic, honey, and lemon, and she explained every single one of them. She said ginger's an anti-inflammatory, and then of course the lemon and the honey I think helps as well. I forget what it is. So I created my own teas. I did have natural ginger the second day. The first day I didn't. I had some ginger tea by sheer chance, and so I did that. So I have had a mortar, right? Because since I cook and I do, I'm a gourmet, I try to cook as best as I can. So I do really, really nice meals all the time. So I have really nice little equipment. So I have like 2 little mortars that I've never used before. So I did my ginger, I grated it, and then I did my garlic, which is hard to taste and drink, even though I like my garlic, but it's kind of, heavy duty. So I really grinded those. I grated them. I didn't grind them. I put them in my mortar. I have 2 mortars. I have one that's like sort of marble type, or I don't know what, resin, and then the other one's an all wood one. They're beautiful. I'll show you guys later. I should have brought them here so I could show you. But and then I have mint. Since I cook and I do, and I cook gourmet, I sort of have a lot of herbs, and so I know my herbs really well. So I started researching based on what I told you all in lifetime, lifelong learners, right? So I said, well, this is very interesting that she reached out. She told me this, which I was very grateful. So thank you so much, Andrea, for reaching out. I thought it was great. And of course, you guys are never imposing, and I really like the recommendations, because I definitely am into holistic medicine as well. And there wasn't really much I could take, except for Advil for inflammation and soreness or who knows what or whatever. So then I read up on it, right? And then I realized I read up on inflammatory herbs. And so one of them is mint, and I have a bunch of mint that I use, and I've always had since I was a little girl. Anytime our belly hurt, we used to go get our mint from the garden and then make mint tea. So I grinded all those up, and that's what I've been drinking, and it has, you all cannot believe, like the inflammation went down like this instantly on one day, and I'm not exaggerating. You can believe whatever it is that you believe. But I started reflecting a lot about her, because when we believe in these things, right, and it's not belief, okay, but there's a perception on holistic medicine or esoteric things, right, like dreams or things that we cannot see because they're not tangible, especially with medicine, of course, and medicine, it has to be science-based and everything. But I really want to, point out that I think that it'll be a very very beneficial to you all. I thought that it was really great that Andrea on her own really has really looked into it, and obviously she knows her stuff. She knew exactly what she could, what I should take, and the reasons of what it is, why it is that I should take them. So it was brilliant. I did a little bit more research, add a little bit more to the tea. I don't know if that's good or bad. You have to be very careful with herbs and stuff like that, because sometimes certain herbs do not mix with other herbs, and they can be counterproductive. So you have to be very careful. And there's certain things, like my sister-in-law has cancer. She's very, very ill, but so there's certain things that she cannot take, like grapefruit she can't drink because it's counterproductive with her medicine. So you have to be very careful, and you have to make sure that you understand, and that if you don't know, you research it, but most definitely check out your doctor. So that, but when I started reading about the mint, it also helps. And of course, you have, like, Mexicans do, like vapor rub or whatever, right? Beaks, like they used to always put it on, and just sort of like used to help you with your stuffiness and stuff like that. So of course that's going to help me be, better with my lungs and things like that for my asthma. So I was really, really happy with the tea. I've been drinking it. I drink it first thing in the morning with nothing in it, in my belly, like free or whatever, this and that. I haven't drank anything. I drink it, and it has helped tremendously. So Andrea, a big kudos to you, and I thank you very much for reaching out. And I most definitely enjoyed, first and foremost, your knowledge, and most definitely respect the holistic aspect of it. I think that in our society, as I mentioned before, I think we tend to minimize that, and I think it needs to be understood, and I think it needs to be studied. And for those of you who don't know, all of the medicine comes from herbs and minerals. Most of them, I think. You guys are the ones in medicine, right? So everything is derived from a specific herb or mineral, a combination or whatever. So I highly, recommend that you look into it, and the medicines that are given out, what it is that the basis of it is, and what it is that the components are, because it's very interesting. And all the Native Americans use a lot of herbs, and they do a lot of things like that. The other thing is that I went to China a lot of years ago. I've gone twice. I've really, the second time I went for, I was looking for peace, right? And so, which is stupid, because peace is not a place that you go and seek and you go and find. Peace is from within, right? And even though I knew that, I don't know, I just decided to go. So anyway, so in my two trips of China, they were extraordinary, right? And it's part of my spiritual components that I have. And so even though I'm a basis as a Catholic and a Christian, I have, like, my kids tell me, Mommy, you get whatever it is that you want from all of them, and I have. So there's a lot of things in Buddhism that I really, really have enjoyed. And I went to Tibet, and Tibet is called the rooftop of the world, and so it was just extraordinary. That is where the Dalai Lamas are. The last one went in exile, and he left because the communists were chasing him down, or who knows, something like that. And so he left. I forget what the word is, but anyway, so all the Dalai Lamas that were previous to him, that's where their tombs are, and it's an extraordinary sight. The whole thing about this conversation is that I think that we need, as a whole, in Western medicine, right? And Western is all of Western, like all of the Western, European, global, right? The world. And so we're Western. And so it's all about giving us pills and making us better after we're sick, right? The Eastern medicine, right, which is the China and all that, it's more of a holistic type of healing. So they feel that if you are not well in mind, in spirit, and body, because they believe that you have a spirit, they believe that there's something in you that you can't see, right, that knows beyond what is tangible and what is here, and knows beyond what is physical in this world, and it's of spirits, right? And also your mind and your body, that if it's not aligned, that you will have more complexities and more challenges and maybe more illnesses. And you cannot heal one specific thing if you are not in alignment. So so just a really quick like example would be, there's the chakras. If you guys don't know what that is, look into it. So the chakras have different colors and they signify something. So the chakra there's a throat chakra. I don't know the numbers or whatever. It's because there's numbers to them. So it is belief, right, that in mind and spirit you have to be okay with your throat, and should it not, then you start getting complications from it because you're not balanced, right? So there might be, theory, and you can believe it or not, is that you're not speaking your truth, or you have been silenced for whatever reason, right? Whatever, or you're not really, telling the truth or whatever, and so you start having difficulties with your throat. So who knows, right? That's just a really quick example, but I really think that we really need to look into it. And definitely, if you understand that it is a holistic thing, and it's a lot about prevention. And I think that in America, in the United States, I think that we don't do a lot of prevention, and I think that it's important to do a lot of prevention. I know that there might be, that there's a lot of information and stuff like that, but I don't think that we take it seriously enough. And that's really what the whole deal about, eating well and exercising and, stretching, or, going out, out to, for a walk or whatever. Of course, you can't do that now, but, when things are good. So it's about really feeding your mind, your spirit, whether you believe in Buddha, Allah, energy, source, whatever it is, or yourself, right? It's about being at peace within yourself. And then, of course, your body. So you have to feed it all at different areas. You can't just be feeding your body and be okay when your mind and your spirit aren't aligned. So I definitely encourage you to look into it. That is not to minimize in any way the science. I am a firm believer of science, and that doesn't mean that you're not gonna, that you're gonna completely do away with your science. But it's important to understand where things come from and how they, came to be, right? And so it's sort of, language. Okay, so language has to do, there's Latin, there's Romance languages, and they're all Latin based. Okay, so some of your Romance languages are French, Italian, Spanish. I think Romanian is one of them, which was very interesting to me. And then Portuguese, and then I think I'm missing two more. So if you know Spanish, you can definitely use that to your advantage. And we're probably the only nation in the world that minimizes a second language and doesn't see it as an asset. So we are very blessed that we are in the border, and if you grew up on the border, then most likely you are both languages. So that will help you tremendously to be able to decipher your medical terminology, which will be instrumental for you to be able to pass your CCMA. Okay, so it is important, and that's what you're going to learn in this class. And I'm going to do it for both classes. So if you've heard it before, a second review is not going to hinder you. So please forgive me. Sometimes I speak the same things in the same classes, even though you've reviewed them and you've already taken another class. So bear with me. But it is important for you to understand the way words are created and the way words are structured, because that way you understand the foundation, right? And you understand the schemata, which is your prior knowledge of whatever it is, and then you start building upon it. So if you understand your family, your root word families, right? Your family words, and if you were like in kindergarten, remember you had your what do they call it? Word families, and so they used to be like root words that you had to learn, right? So let's take cat. So you would do cat, bat, fat, mat, fat, right? And so all you have to do is just your root word is at, and it's AT. And then all you have to do is change your consonant, and it creates a whole different word, and that is your word family. You're going to have word families at a college level, and it is important through medical terminology and all those things that you understand what the families are and that you can decipher them. And if you know Spanish or you know Romance language, you can most definitely understand the structure of the word that you're reading based on prefixes, suffixes, and root words that I will be teaching. And And so that way, even if you don't understand what the word is, you can sort of decipher it. Sort of, let's take in, an example of anti, right? Antihistamine, antioxidant, antibiotic. Everything is a fight against. So anything that has anti in the word means that it's fighting against something. Okay, so if you know the root word and you understand what that is, then you'll be okay, and you can sort of figure out what the word is without really knowing it, as long as you understand the root words. But most definitely, English is about expanding your vocabulary, understanding the structure of it, and understanding, the way language is set up. So, so that's part of the lectures, and that's part of what this is. So a big shout out to Andrea for really, for giving me that recipe. It was incredible. And for you all to really, understand what it is that you're really doing, and what it is that your medicine is, and what it is that it sort of entailed. And so, it'd be very interesting for you to really look into holistic medicine, just to, not to practice it if you don't wish or whatever, but to have a deeper understanding of where medicine is and what it is that really is a substance. I was very impressed with her, because she specifically told me garlic is this, ginger helps with this. And so she understood all the combinations, and she recommended that tea, which has been, just great for me. So I feel much better. I don't think I'm gonna really recuperate that quickly. I don't think I see myself, doing sit-ups for a while now. I'm thinking like 6 months, even though, I don't know. And then of course the walking, I can't even walk, but I am feeling much, much better. And so thank you very much. So this is really what school is about, right? It's about learning and class discussions, which we don't have the privilege right now, but we will, right? I will have a class discussion on Wednesday, not Monday. I already set up my team, so you will be getting an invite, and then we'll be setting up classes. We'll be setting up a conference through Teams for the morning classes, and then 2 for the afternoon. I don't know who's who in my roster. It seems like there's only an afternoon class that I have, but there's a mix of students that I know you from past. So unless you moved over to the morning, there's some people that have like morning that are scheduled in the morning, supposedly, because right now the schedules don't matter, but in terms of the dates of the times, the hours. So that really should be in the afternoon. So anyway, but I'll be sending that out. The other thing is that we will be midterms start on Monday the 20th. Okay, so that is next week, exactly a week from now. So I don't like to do midterms on the day of the midterms and the week of the midterms, because I want you to use as much my class is really easy and it's simple, but you're going to learn a lot. Okay, and it seems like you're not going to learn a lot. It's only after that you sort of figure out everything that I taught you. And since I'm an expert at what I do, it sort of seems like it's easy, but it's not, right? I mean, I have a lot of background and I have a lot of knowledge, so it sort of seems easy, but it's not. So I like for you all, we get our stuff done. You learn what you need to learn, right? As I have told you before, I am teaching life, but it is through content that I do so. So this is about life. We need to get through our stuff that you need to do in English. And with that, I'm going to teach you what you need to teach. And hopefully the extra time that you're going to have free from whatever it is that you don't have to spend in my class, right? You can spend on learning your medical terminology, doing your index cards, and I'll mention those in the separate classes. So to be able to really take advantage of this of the extra time that you have. So having said that, I want our midterm to be due this coming Thursday. Okay, so I think that's all I'm gonna schedule, and that's all the homework that I'm gonna give. You're gonna have today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday you're gonna have to put it up. Now, I've been pretty lax about the way things need to be turned in, but I'm not gonna do that on this term, okay, for all sorts of reasons. So the term and the topic, okay, and the prompt, that's what it's called, and it's going to be for both classes, because one is writing, the other one is reading, but it all sort of goes together. Okay, so I am going to want for you to pick, the prompt is this: What is it about this quarantine and what is it about this isolation that you have learned and that you have noticed? And what is it that there's patterns about? And why do you think that it's necessary to do this? And do you feel that it's appropriate? So lots of stuff, right? What is it that you've learned during this quarantine? Why do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's necessary? And what is it maybe that you like or you don't like, okay, about the quarantine? And what have you learned about yourself? Okay, so lots of stuff. Basically, it's a free, open forum in terms of what has this quarantine taught you, okay, about life, about medicine, about pandemics, about globalization, about you self having to be at home, and about not being able to go to places, right? Like, for instance, school. So whatever it is that has impacted you the most, I want you to write about. It can be several things all at once, or you can answer all of them, okay? I want this in a Word document, and I want it typed with a minimum of 2 pages, okay? I used to leave it up to whatever. I kid you not, I had people turning in like 1 paragraph or 2 sentences for midterm. So I'm not doing that anymore. It's all the abusers always, the ones that don't care and the ones that mess it up for everybody, and that's where we're at. But so that's why teachers get the way they are, and that's why they get meanies, and that's why they become who they become, right? I don't want to be that way. I want to give you the creativity and the flexibility to do it, but I do want you to do it in Word document. There are some files that were uploaded that I couldn't open, so I need to sort of standardize everything. So I want it in a Word document. I want you to type it out, okay? And you can do that out of your iPad. Everybody has iPads, and if you download a Word, because it doesn't come with Word, so if you don't download it, then maybe when you upload it, it's not going to be compatible. So the whole thing also is about compatibility and figuring things out. Okay, so don't get frustrated, but you're going to have to probably download a Word document. See if you can do that. I don't know how much it is. I think that, it costs a little bit. I don't know. I think it's part of an app. So then you sort of type it out there, right? Or you can do it on Notes, but Notes doesn't upload all that great. So there is also Pages, I believe, on Apple, right? So you could use Pages, and I think that is good, and I think that app that uploads correctly. So do a test run first, because you want to make sure that whatever it is that you have to turn in is appropriate and accurate, okay? I'm a pretty, easygoing teacher, so I'm not like really hard if you have problems, unless you've like taken advantage of me before and I know it. And I've dealt with you before. I'll probably work with you to set it up. But the reason that I want you to work through things is for you to make sure that, that for other professors and other situations, you make sure that everything is the way you should. So make sure that it's in a Word document or Pages. Make sure that you type it out, and it's a minimum of 2 pages. It's a minimum of 2 pages, okay? And so the topic and the prompt is the coronavirus, right? Its effect on you, the isolation and the quarantine, what effect it has had on you. And, what has it taught you? And what do you miss? Or, how is it that you have dealt with it? And how has it impacted your life? And what is it that you see? Okay, and you can do it as a personal, you can do it both, you can see how it's, or do a medical, version of it and perspective. So whatever perspective it is that you want. So the coronavirus, the quarantine and the isolation, how has it impacted you? Okay, I think that's it. I know it's a really long video, but that's basically what the lectures are going to be about. I'm going to do 2 separate videos as well for English 145 as well as English 133, explaining some things specific to that class that I want to take more time here in the general video. And most definitely we will be doing daily attendance tomorrow as well. And then I will be further telling you about the invite that I will be sending out for a conference call through your iPhones, hopefully. So you'll probably need internet access for that. Okay, you can either do it to your computer, you could do it through your phone, or you can do it through your iPads. And my understanding is everybody has an iPad. So with that, many blessings. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, and I really miss not being in the classroom, but I am getting to know you all by your comments and all that you are very, there's a lot of communication with us, despite of it just being sort of, in writing. So I thank you all for being flexible, understanding, and most definitely open and patient with yourself. Many blessings. Ciao. Love and light.